I think one of the most like cynical, one of the most grossest aspects of the Biden camp that they did this was when they would like weaponize black people as a shield.
Yeah, talk about human shields.
Yeah, they literally would just be like, wow, it's really fucked up because a lot of black people love Biden. So you must be against black people. And I was like, I'm telling you, Kamala Harris is a black woman who should be the substitute to Biden. And motherfuckers would try to tell me that it's anti-black to usurp Biden.
I love the Democrat QAnon stuff they did where they went, by not stepping down, that's Joe Biden shielding Kamala.
Yeah.
I never understood that, how that was happening.
What is this? What started it?
I never thought I would be one of those people that comes crying on the internet, and if my English is not comprehensible, it's fine. It's not my first language. But this has to be said. I'm so sick. I'm so sick and tired of Americans playing your identity politics. I'm so sick of it. You were all able to comprehend pinkwashing. You were all able to comprehend how using one's identity in the name of you were all able to comprehend how pinkwashing is fucked up. That killing people in the name of something is fucked up. You were able to comprehend it when it came to queerness and pinkwashing, but you're not able to comprehend it when it comes to race. You're coming on the internet, telling Palestinians how they're playing oppression Olympics, how there's other genocides. We are very well aware. We're from the global south. We are aware to what's happening. I'm fucking half Iraqi and half Palestinian.
She's not saying anything wrong. What the Why are people mad about this? I don't understand.
You're aware of the oppression that's happening, and it's never because of us, it's because of you. It's because of you. It's your government. It's the people that you keep voting, and it's your tax money. I've never been in the US, and I never fucking will be. You guys are whack. You're insane. You're so beyond selfish. It's insane. A black woman in presidency is not gonna save us. And no, I'm not saying vote Trump in. Do something. Do something. I'm so sick and tired of this. Do something. It's your responsibility. What more do you need to see? What more images need to come out of Sudan, Congo, Palestine, any of those countries? What do you need to see to start acting and realizing you're the problem? You're the problem. No one's policing you. No one's telling you not to speak up, but do not speak up when it comes to oppressing my people. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck anymore. It's also white people. It's all of you. It's all of you.
Earlier,
every race in America has oppressed us. Black people also wear a uniform and get on a plane and come to our countries and kill us. You vote the same melanated people into government that sign papers to kill us. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. You are our colonizers. I do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. I'm done. We've watched our people die for years. We're not the people that oppressed you. Instead of taking a second to think how identity politics is so toxic and is killing people, you're playing into the entire agenda. Step by step, you're all brainwashed. You're all ridiculous and pathetic. I'm so done. So done. You're all the same. All of you. Every single one of you. Every single American is complicit, and I'm done.
Yeah, I think this was willfully misinterpreted.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I saw people specifically to black women saying they're voting for Kamala, saying that they should take the Palestine flag out of their name or bio if they're voting for Kamala. Yeah, I don't really care about these fucking like, oh, you need to change your bio or whatever. None of that stuff moves the needle. Go out and protest, okay? She's absolutely right when she talks about like identity politics being a mechanism to shield America's like gross and violent actions. She's completely correct.
Right, and she's not singling anyone out. She's saying that like, yeah, nor is she saying that anyone is like more culpable than the other. Just that like, you know, again, anyone in America can join the military or otherwise like commit these acts.
Yeah, I don't think this is like specifically singling out, like people are making it seem like this is specifically singling out black people.
It's really not.
Even one point that she made, this is actually a really important point. Not the fact that there are like black troops on deployment, because that's another consequence of like America exploiting underserved communities to consistently have like some function of a poverty draft. But this part where she talks about like how America puts black people into positions of power to specifically justify heinous acts That part is absolutely correct, and it is deliberate. I mean, it's like it's the Colin Powell phenomena. It's the fact that like the UN ambassadors are black. Like that is deliberate. That is 100% deliberate. That's on purpose. Like these are people playing the role of a shield.
Right. It's the same reason for Biden's like press secretary.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a very cynical and very racist way in which, like, this doesn't mean that like black people don't deserve to be in that position at all. That's not what I'm saying. This is, however, the other side of like the way liberals also basically put forward like a shield of race to whitewash their actions. I don't like this take, brother. I mean, look, it's Cornel West who said black faces in high places will not be able to undermine white supremacy. This is a white supremacist reinforcement. Ultimately, that's what it is. Catalyst of a TikTok live argument. Yeah. At the college protest you went to, they sent out a black faculty leader to talk to the students. Yeah, that was UCLA. Liberals love doing this shit. But ultimately, if the take is making you uncomfortable, then maybe it should. No, I mean, I don't know what part of it was like clipped. And obviously she's very emotional in this situation and maybe not like thinking about it. But there was a massive anti-war movement during the civil rights movement as well. So, you know, it's not like a lot of people personally recognize that that's a form of oppression that exists domestically and also that the rest of the world is subjected to on a regular basis. She only called out black people. You can't say she's right. No, she didn't. She said every American is responsible, and that even includes black Americans, which is like the only part of it that is like a little bit emotionally charged to a degree where it understandably makes people uncomfortable because you live in the United States of America and you understand systemic forms of oppression that churn out these results. But that's it. They saw it was ineffective to call anti-Palestine anti-Semitism. Now they're calling it anti-black. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%.
That's fucking ridiculous, dude. The bit where she talked about black people serving in the military being our colonizers was the bit that was clipped and blew up on Twitter. Came across a bit unhinged due to her yelling and crying. Her overall point is much more coherent. Yeah,
right. People willfully like misinterpreted it to make it sound like it was directed that way.
Yeah, I think it's a cynical way. It's a cynical way to basically shut this argument down. She's ultimately not wrong. Yes, black people who are abused and oppressed domestically are also then, as a byproduct of that oppression, are sent to the front lines to do the bidding of white supremacists. This is 100% the case. I think like that's not wrong. That is absolutely the case. I think she's responding to a TikTok of a black liberal saying he's voting for Kamala because Biden was helping with the Congo, lol, and has said that it's been ongoing for more years than Palestine and was downplaying Gaza. Jesus Christ. Do you think this discourse is a psyop? No, I think I don't think it's a psyop, dude. I think people run with whatever the they want to. A lot of people, especially if they're directly victims of this kind of action, will not be using the appropriate terms and the care and consideration, especially if they're not super geared on super clued in on like Western, there's different kinds of bigotry in the West.
Right. Especially if if you didn't grow up in America, English is your second language or maybe even third, you know, and after seeing like horrific images that no one should see, possibly, you know, your family reduced to mounds of flesh, charred into the earth, you know, maybe the exact term will not be perfect.
K-Harvers have definitely started directing this unhinged K-Harv of energy towards pro-Palestine protesters and activists and is ugly. There's no better way to go with the works of like broad popular momentum, especially amongst young people, than by causing division. This is what I said about the Josh Shapiro pick as well. For my own personal reasoning for Josh Shapiro was not that he was like, you know, over the top Zionist or whatever. I don't think he was like any more Zionist than the average Democrat is, right? Maybe with a little bit more of a personal connection, you know, the volunteering for the IDF or whatever, but when he was in high school. But like beyond that, every Democrat is just as unconditionally supportive of Israel's existence as an apartheid state. For me, it was more so about my red line was the school voucher program, which is, you know, an immediate way to say you to the teachers unions and shows your willingness to like destroy what remains of the public school system. But beyond that, I also caution the Democrats that Josh Shapiro as a pick for VP would constantly create an endless cycle of back and forth between Democrats and their base of support, especially ones that would like normally be the door knockers, be the organizers, because they would constantly run to the center and keep saying, oh, our base is just like anti-Semitic, that's why they're not voting for us.
Right. I mean,
which would be ironic because those are like all the Bernie coalition.
I had like, my input on this was not and is not important because I'm not voting for the ticket. And I don't imagine there was any realistic VP pick that could change that for me. But as someone interested in like horse race politics who has been following it forever, I think Shapiro as a VP pick, like he went a little bit above and beyond, using anti-BDS laws to go after Ben and Jerry's. That puts him a little bit more in that camp.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot about that.
Average Democrat. But I really think his main weakness as a VP.
We also called the pro-Palestinian protest KKK.
And people try to justify that by saying, oh, he was saying, wouldn't it be bad if they also broke the rules? And it's like, come on.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
It sounds like how like conservatives talk about how Trump's remarks after Charlottesville. It's the exact same thing. But Shapiro, his biggest weakness, I thought, was crimes. He committed those crimes for his
I like that we both have our own pet project that we were more offended by. Yours was on crimes. Valid.
Vouchers, I think, also bad for sure. But like that thing where like this donor, this guy that he was childhood friends with, his nephew, he found his fiance dead, stabbed in the back of the head multiple times. The first guy he calls is Unc.
Suicide.
Unc. He calls Unc, Josh Shapiro's friend. Unc comes over. He takes all electronic devices, takes all that out. Then they call the cops. The medical examiner says she killed herself by stabbing herself in the back of the head multiple times. And it's a really up story. The woman's family has I think it made it to the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court that they're gonna reopen the ME's report to not categorize it as suicide, hopefully. But that was a massive, again, morally, I think obviously disqualifying, but just even if they find out that he did nothing wrong, that he was just incompetent and legitimately thought this was suicide, do you want every time his name comes up that you see a graphic of a woman being stabbed in the back of the head multiple times connected to him? Do you want that for your VP pick? No one wants that.
Yeah, that would have not been great.
Yeah, and he probably guarantees Pennsylvania, and that's I get that as a calculation, but I just thought, from my perspective, someone who enjoys horse race politics for the sake of picking winners and losers, I thought ultimately he would be taking away way more than he would add.
Yeah, I mean ultimately it is also the unique dynamic, not the Josh Shapiro thing, but going back to the other quote unquote drama or whatever. But at least in my experience, I went to a bunch of Palestinian protests. We've been covering this for quite a bit. Those are not even remotely the DSA white caucus crowds that you would see.
No,
those were some of the most diverse crowds of young students from every different fucking background. I don't think that there's any love lost or any kind of lack of solidarity. So this is probably marginal. Yeah. People are just very desperate as the conditions in Gaza worsen. People will become more and more desperate to grab onto any little thing they can. And this is what the new thing is for a brief moment. It's probably nothing.
And to anyone who is disheartened by this, I would have to say that out in the world, and again, this is anecdotal, of course, but people are much more attuned to the connection between imperialism abroad and the excesses of the empire and the empire's proxies, how that connects to oppression at home. They're way more attuned to that than you may think. They have a way better handle on a lot of this than a lot of people may think. And look, going all the way back to October of last year, I thought, okay, this is the most successful attack on Israel in my lifetime. Maybe this will make things harder for the anti-war, for the anti-Zionist side in America, right? That was a lot of people's guess. I think some of the guesses people make where they were this is the end of the organized left in America. Those were stupid at the time, and they were
Will
proven.
Stansel.
Yeah, those were proven dumber as time went on. But my interpretation of October 7th was this is their strategy is that they're not going to wait on whatever yield that broad sympathy in America could create, and I think that was a fair calculation to make. What ended up happening is that this is the broadest, most diverse, and fastest growing that I've ever seen the anti-Zionist movement ever in America.
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all, and I think that really caught people flat-footed. It was a beyond pleasant surprise. And people will, whether it's because they are cynical or whether it is because they are getting paid, will try to undermine that and try to trick people into increasingly minute factions over essentially just very cynical machinations. And it's easy to fall for that, but you also just have to keep in mind what we have now is it was inconceivable even 3 years ago, and it is absolutely terrified them.
Yeah.
And just don't lose sight of that, and don't lose sight of your fellow people who know better.
Yeah, it's silly shit. It's whatever. Yeah. It's like another like oftentimes overlooked aspect of this is that it could literally end with one phone call. That's what's so frustrating about this. Like, it could end with one singular phone call. No more weapons transfers until you get to the fucking table and you cut the shit out. It's happened before. It's literally happened before throughout American history. Ronald Reagan, Joe Biden himself had a similar moment in 2021. That's what's wild about it, is that it could not happen without our undying loyalty and commitment and financial support. Yeah, I just don't know a single American person, black, white, doesn't matter what their background is, that if you were to ask them, would you rather give $18 billion to Israel every 2 months so they can kill random children and women, or fix your potholes and like fund your schools? I don't know a single American that would say, "Nah, I want permanent genocide." Actually,
do you want everyone from the dog catcher to the senator from your state vetted by the political arm, the international political lobbying arm?
The lieutenant governor is what he's talking about. Like, oh my God, that shit was so crazy.
Yeah. Do you want them vetting every candidate you vote for, training your police? How many weapons are enough? How many weapons are you willing to give them at cost for nothing, even? So that this can go on forever, so that they never have to truly face the consequences of the world that they have created around themselves. Yeah. And that we have to.
That's the other aspect of it. Like all the Black Lives Matter protests, we're talking about the disproportionate targeting of black people by police. Like post 9/11, IDF has trained every single police department in this country. You know what I mean? Like kettling, corralling as a strategy that actual Black Lives Matter protesters experienced was like common practice from the IDF, counterterrorism practices that they taught to American police precincts all the way from New York City, which also happens to have a division in Tel Aviv, down to like Terre Haute, Indiana. You know what I mean? It's not like this is only in the big cities or whatever. This is like across the board. That shit's crazy. So it does actually reinforce white supremacy in America as well, because it's simply white supremacy already in the form of our foreign policy upon the global south.
I think a lot of the stuff you see of people just, acting cynically, whether it is like, Isaac Edward Devore saying that Shapiro was like singled out, or whether it is whatever influencer anywhere trying to sow division, anything, any type of like just broad cynicism you see of this that is like a misdirection in nature. It is trying to get you to think about anything, something else other than the direct angle of this. That is someone who is fully aware that all of this is a stain on all of us. It is a stain, a mark on every American. It is them trying not to think about that, and they are trying to convince themselves as much as they are trying to convince you.
Yeah. All right. that'll be all for today, folks. Thank you, Felix Biederman of Chapo Trap House.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Instead of funding Israel, we could have gotten Felix a F-22 or an F-15.
I wouldn't even ask for like an expensive F-22. I would have like an F-16, even a really cheap one like the J-39C Gripen. That is a steal at half the price.
Yeah. Don't be duped by this dumb shit. Don't let people break your solidarity. It's just like record behavior. Who gives a I mean, it's silly nonsense. I hate entertaining stuff like this. It's just like I despise this so much. But yeah, anything you want to plug?
Well, we have new merch out at chapotraphouse.com.
Hell yeah.
Store or merch. I forget which one. Try both. Try them all. Maybe I'm right. I can't plug the show. Sold out.
Damn,
but
flex.
Really, we should have gotten a bigger venue, but we didn't even think to do this till too late.
And that's before I announced that I'm going to be on it. I'm going to do something.
We'll be on it. So if all the people who bought tickets, if they die and we have to sell new ones, check it out. And Chapo Trap House on Patreon, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and twitch.tv/Chapo Trap House.
All right. Bye, everybody. Peace.